the Varimax, if you want to do orthogonal rotation, then you simply go to the rotation window and say Varimax rotation. Everything else remains the same. Okay, and we'll paste it in our syntax file. So it is, we'll say this is 3 factors and Varimax rotation. Right, so this is 3 factors and Varimax rotation. So we will run this. Okay, so our communalities are reported, our eigenvalues, okay, variance, this remains the same, nothing. The total variance explained remains the same, 67% with rotation or without rotation, that will not change. Okay, and then you go to rotated factor matrix. So here in this output, you will see rotated factor matrix. That is the solution that we will see. So we are again getting here this, then we are getting these 3 items, and we are getting these 3 items here. But you can recognize that the loadings seem to be smaller here as compared to the oblique rotation. So if we look at the oblique rotated solution, right? So we had higher loadings here, see 0.8, 0.8, 0.7, and then we had 0.96, 0.74, 0.72, then 0.93, 0.76, and 0.49. Here, if you see, these are slightly lesser rotated. These are slightly less. There is a loading of 0.6 also. Here also there is 0.6, 7. Here also 0.8, 0.7. So the loadings tend, and there are slightly larger cross loadings. There are slightly larger cross loadings on the other factors. Okay, so again, it is just trying to show that at times your oblique rotated solution or obliquely rotated solution may be a better solution than a Varimax solution. And in this, you do not get the interfactor correlation matrix, right? There is no interfactor correlation matrix that we get here for the simple reason, because Varimax assumes that the 3 factors are not correlated to each other. So this value below the diagonal is anyways 0, right? There is no correlation between factor 1 and 2, no correlation between factor 1 and 3, no correlation between factor 2 and 3. So Varimax will force this correlation to be 0, right? And that is the reason why there is no factor correlation table. It reports some transformation matrix, but we don't have to really, this is not the correlation table. This is some transformation that it uses when it is rotating this factor solution. This is not the correlation matrix. The correlation between the 3 factors is assumed to be 0. So Varimax, anyways, because we have seen the factor correlations are quite substantial, we should not go for Varimax. If these factor correlations would have come out to be less, then it would have made sense to go and try out Varimax solution and see what is the result that you are getting. But in this case, you should not do it because you have found that the factors are correlated to each other.